What's going on, guys? Niko here, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how Illenium and Mozart use the power of ARPS to make bangers. Now, you may be wondering, what do they have in common? Well, both Illenium and Mozart were very big fans of arpeggiation, and what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you 3 examples from Illenium's recent tracks, and what I have here is every single Illenium song ever made. I printed out the lyrics and I wrote every single melody, every single chord progression, and really understood his music. So I'll be breaking this out over videos to come as well. It's really fascinating stuff though, and I promise you by the end of this video, you are going to become a much better songwriter. So make sure you stay through and watch till the very end because you do not want to miss any of this. With that being said, let's get to the piano and let's get to work. Quick announcement before we get started, I'm giving away a free piano lesson, so if you want to work with me one-on-one for free, comment down below piano mastery. Additionally, if you are a music producer, check out the Illenium chord progression MIDI pack down below. Also free, it breaks out all of his chord progressions so you guys can use them in your music. Without that being said, let's get to the piano and start going through these examples. So the first arpeggiation we're going to go over is from the song Pray by Illenium, and it sounds like this. And I'm going to transpose this to the key of C so it's all white keys for you guys. And then let's break down exactly what is going into this arpeggiation. So this is used during the intro of a song like Illenium does in a lot of his songs. If you notice at the beginning, there's a nice arpeggiation introduction, something he's probably doing with the, actually I think it always is the guitar. So here's how it sounds. Let me just play it in with the white keys. So this is a 5 chord progression, 5 chords in this chord progression, and all Illenium's really doing is he's taking the chord and he's getting rid of the third. So I'm just playing the chord with my right hand as background music almost. And the arpeggiation right here is just the first and the third. So if you listen, and again, you look here, it's a G major chord. He's just arpeggiating the first 2 notes of this chord. And then we go to the D minor chord, which is the next chord in this chord progression. Then we play a C major chord. And then we go into an E minor chord. And he's actually now, instead of playing the first 2 notes, what he's doing is he's playing, if you look at an E minor chord, he's playing the 1st and the 5th, but what he does is he jumps up the E an octave to here. So he arpeggiates. All right, so let's go through that one more time. We start off with our A minor chord, arpeggiating the first two notes in the triad, the A and the C. Right? So it's pretty simple, but it creates a nice tone to begin the song. And this is what the arpeggiations do in intros. They get the listener getting the feeling of how the song's going to go, and it kind of lays the framework for the song and provides a nice introduction. All right, so that's the first example. The second one we're going to go through is In Your Arms, and it sounds like this. I think this one's actually played by a piano, but I can't remember. I've played through all of his songs, so it's a bit of a blur to me. But let's break down what's going on. This is only 2 chords going on right here. Let me break it down and put it in the key of, we're going to play this in the key of C, so here's how it sounds. All right, so all Illenium is doing is he's taking the chord right here, a C major chord, and he's just arpeggiating and doing a back and forth, or you can call it a back and forth ARP. You can also call it a root note arpeggiation. Again, I have a video that shows the 5 types of ARPs that you can use in your songs. And this is basically a root note arpeggiation. So he takes a C major chord here, and what he does is he goes back and forth between the third and the fifth. Right? Very simple, but it's a nice sound. Then what he does is he jumps up to the E minor chord. And if we arpeggiated the E minor chord the same way, it would sound like this. But Illenium, what he wants to do is he wants to minimize the movement of this right hand as much as possible to keep everything kind of glued together in the same area of this melody, right? So what he does is instead of going up here to play the E minor chord, he actually just, all he does is he slides his thumb down one, or whoever was playing the piano, if they played piano. And what they do here is they just arpeggiate, you know, starting from this lowest note. Major chord. And the way we create this chord right here, the B, E, and the G, is first we create the minor chord. So we create an E minor chord using the 3-2 strategy. And then all he does is I'll play it down here. He jumps up the E up an octave, and then he jumps the G up an octave. So that's the way this chord is created, and this nice 2-chord progression really sounds great in the intro. I'll play it for you one more time. And again, he's using root note arpeggiation. Now, by root note, the root note of an E minor chord is an E. But the way I try to refer to this is if you invert it, the lowest note is now your root, I guess you can call it, so you just arpeggiate there. All right, fantastic. And this last arpeggiation I'm going to show you is my favorite one that he does, and this is from the song The Sound of Walking Away, and it sounds like this. And if we play it with just white keys, it sounds like this. All right, so let's break down what's going on here chord by chord. So the first thing he's doing is he's playing an A minor chord, and he's arpeggiating the C and the G. So what this does right away is you're arpeggiating a perfect fifth. You're arpeggiating a power chord, which is going to most likely be beautiful because of the inherent nature of this interval, of this power chord. Now, if you look at an A minor 7th chord, it's created like this. And again, if you need to create chords, check out the Piano Cheat Codes PDF in the description. It gives you all the chord construction strategies. What Illenium does here is he says, okay, I'm going to take the C and the G, and I'm going to jump these both up an octave. But I'm not going to play the G down here. Or maybe he does, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it from the song. So he just arpeggiates the C and the G, and he plays the chord with his left hand. All right, and then going on from here, what he does is he goes to his next chord, which is an F major chord. So what he does here now is he's like, all right, well, I'm playing a C and a G. What can I arpeggiate next? So an F major chord, you have F, A, and C. So he could have gone up and played. But what Illenium is doing with his ARP is it's a slow walk down. He's slowly walking down from, and it creates that direction that makes it so great. Instead of going up and down wherever else, he just goes straight down. So what's going on here is we have the perfect fifth being arpeggiated up here. Now he's arpeggiating a perfect fourth, and this is more likely than not going to sound good, especially if you're playing it with the right chord. So he has the F major chord, and he's arpeggiating this. Then he goes to a C major chord. And here he keeps going down with the arpeggiation. And then, so this is C major chord, and he's arpeggiating the first and the third of the triad. Then he goes to a G major chord and arpeggiates the C and the D. Now, how does he come up with this? I don't see the C and the D in a G major chord. It's a G sus4 chord, and if we know about how to construct sus4 chords, it goes like this. You have your root note, which is a G. You count 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you count one note up and play the next note, employing the 4-1 strategy. So if you look at these notes, you can actually arpeggiate them right here. So if we break this down to its core, the first note essentially is an arpeggiated minor 7th chord. Then we have a major chord being arpeggiated. Then another major chord. And then we have a sus chord. Now, if Illenium wanted to, he can still play a G major chord with his left hand. And then in his right hand, he can play the C and the D. So here we go. And now I'm playing the power octave chord arpeggiated. But you see what's going on here, guys. Illenium's using these arpeggiations to make his introduction sound nice, sound full, and they're really not that challenging. He's just manipulating the chords and just playing a nice little arpeggiation, either a back and forth arp or that root note arpeggiation with his left hand to set the tone of the song. So with that being said, you now know the 3 different arps that Illenium was doing in those 3 examples that I showed you. So when you go back to writing your own music, think of ways you can take whatever chord progression you're using and create arpeggiations that are derived from that arp. Because I'll tell you one thing, Mozart used the exact same arpeggiations in his song that Illenium is now using today. So when we go back and we look at other artists and we study them and we find out what we like, really what we're doing when we make music is we have a bunch of influences from a bunch of other artists. And I've been influenced by the entire dance music scene because I've played almost every dance song, as well as I play a lot of hip hop, play a lot of rock, gospel, Greek, Middle Eastern, Asian. When you fuse all those together, that's how you create your own unique sound. So what we're doing here is we're really just pulling apart what Illenium is doing and finding ways we can incorporate some of the elements into our own sounds, into our own music to create that unique signature sound. So hope that video helped. If you found value out of it, please comment, like, subscribe down below, hit the notifications bell so you get all updates going on further. And again, if you want to work with me one-on-one, comment down below piano mastery. I select one winner every Friday from the comment section to get a free piano lesson to go over whatever songs you want to go over. Really anything that you guys want to know, I am more than happy to help you. And that's really it. So thanks again for watching this video, and I will see you next time.